Welcome to my podcast, From Illness to Awakening. I'm Allison Bruner. I'm a somatic psychotherapist and a shamanic energy healer, as well as someone who has coped with and overcome 8 years of chronic illness. I'm here to offer support to you on your path of spiritual expansion that can come from the experience of chronic illness. Part of that spiritual expansion comes from taking responsibility for our health. We first recognize that what the threats to our physical health are, on a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual level. We understand that there are a lot of toxins in our environment, in our foods, in even in our cleaners, in our homes, in all around in our environment. And instead of feeling like a victim, we look at ways that we can keep ourselves healthy, even by taking care of ourselves emotionally, by changing the way that we eat, and looking into modalities of healthcare that are effective. And I'm about to introduce you to a modality that got me to the finish line, the final year of my physical healing. It's called nutrition response testing. And I love this modality. As I say in the interview that I'm about to present to you, I love this modality because there's no guesswork involved. We get to ask our bodies, what is at the root of the physical illness that we're experiencing. The body will indicate what organs and systems are involved and which need to be prioritized to heal first, second, and after. And our body will say specifically what kind of support it needs in the way of food and supplements that come straight from whole foods, and how much of those supplements that it needs and for how long. So we're not endlessly taking supplements. I wanted to make sure that I presented this statistic to you, which is that according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, 6 in 10 adults in the United States have a chronic disease these days, and 4 in 10 have 2 or more. Our traditional allopathic healthcare system does not have the answers. In most cases, we're being prescribed pills to suppress the symptoms, but it's not getting to the root cause. And so, again, I'm really excited for you to learn more about nutrition response testing, because I think that eventually this should replace, and it already has for me, replace primary care. That we could be going for nutrition response testing twice a year just to see how our bodies are doing and what our bodies are in need of to run optimally. In my own experience, I learned that pretty much at the crux of most physical illness is toxins that accumulate in our bodies. In my case, NRT, nutrition response testing, or NRT practitioners, and an autonomic response testing practitioner, which I hope to talk about in a future episode here, found viruses, funguses, parasites, chemicals, mold, heavy metals, and more in my body, and also found out that I had Lyme disease, which had always been a question. I'd had the symptoms of it, and I had lost my ability to move very much, to dance, to hike, to be active like I once was. And this worked in a time when it's so hard to find healing for Lyme disease or chronic Lyme. It's a godsend that we have NRT and ART. Because if, for instance, if you look on social media, in support groups for people dealing with Lyme, you'll see it's destroying lives. People are becoming non-functional. They're having to go on disability, and many are dying. And right here we have an answer. So, without further ado, I present to you Cindy Harrington, who helped me in the past year of my healing.
All right. So, Cindy, thank you so much for joining me. And of course, I know you, I'm calling you Cindy, but for everyone that listens to this is Cindy Harrington. She's the owner and founder of the Center for Nutritional Healing in Royersford, Pennsylvania. And she has her Master's of Science in Human Clinical Nutrition and Integrative Health. Do I have that right?
Perfect.
Okay. And you're also a master nutrition response testing practitioner,
Yes, I am.
among other things, which we can talk about too. And your website, if people want to look you up, because I know you also have a TV show on where we can access episodes there, I believe. Um,
Yes, I have a show running on local television in a few counties in Pennsylvania. It's with Comcast, but those episodes are available on the homepage of centerfornutritionalhealing.com.
Great. Thank you. I can't wait to look at them. I just discovered them, so I'm excited to look at that because this is the stuff that excites me.
Me too.
Right? And so you're doing more than NRT, as I call it, nutrition response testing. Feel free to fill people in on what else you're offering at your center.
Um, I I use nutrition response testing, which is an incredible system of muscle testing that allows me to determine root causes of why someone is not in optimal health and the exact nutrition they need to turn things around in the form of changes to diet and supplementation. Along with that, I am doing advanced lab testing with nutritional blood chemistry analysis. So every new client has the lab testing done as part of their evaluation and intake. And it's the basic blood and urine testing that is often done by a primary care provider or MD, and then some, filling in a lot of gaps. And then I do an analysis on those results like you've never seen. And it really informs me about the client's overall health between the testing we do in the office, including the nutrition response testing and some other tests we do at the evaluation, like heart sound recorder and health express test, also known as heart rate variability, and some other things. In-house, non-invasive, but then the client does go to LabCorp to get the blood and urine taken, and I then get a wealth of information to help them.
It's a lot of data. It's great. Even it's not just, which is my favorite thing. It's not just the body speaking to us. You're also getting lab results. You're getting a lot of data, a lot of measurement and analysis.
Yes, and I am a lover of data, and we are utilizing it in very effective ways. So when the client comes back for their report of findings initially, they get a 14-page report just on the lab work, the blood and urine work that that they have had done at LabCorp, and then printouts from the heart sound recorder test and the health express test, and information on what the muscle testing showed. So everything is all integrated, and we really get a good picture of the wellness of that person and what's causing issues and what they need to turn it around.
It's really exciting. I mean, for me, it's the future of medicine. I mean, it's not even the future, it's now, it's here. It's just that a lot of people don't know about it. Um, and if people haven't figured it out by now, I know you through I met you in March of last year, 2023.
Mhm.
You became my final year-long stretch of healing. Like you took me the rest of the way home.
Cool.
And yeah, and I part of all of this data that you collect, there was this interesting uh I don't exactly know what it was, and maybe you can say you did something to sort of assess what my body's age was based on my health, and it came to something like 71. I was astonished, and I'm 49.
Yes, that was the Health Express test, also known as heart rate variability. And we need to do that again. Why don't we do that at your next appointment?
Yes, and then I can tell people, I can
How
tell
young
people what
you
it
are.
is. Yes, 30 something,
Uh,
right?
you may be younger physiologically now than your chronological age, right? We'll see.
Certainly feels like it, but
Oh,
yeah.
cool. But that is a very cool test. You wear a belt, like many people wear at the gym to track their heart rate, on the chest. And it assesses heart rate, it assesses the nervous system and the vagus nerve, and gets pretty technical. Um, and so each client like you gets a printout showing the health of their nervous system and overall health. And yeah, we can gauge their physiological age from that. It also tips me off if the thyroid gland right here is stressed, um, and can let me know again if the nervous system is blocked or switched. In other words, blocked from healing, and or switched or confused. And then I follow that with the nutrition response testing to determine what stressor is blocking it and or switching it, so that the person's nervous system can go into a healing mode and they can truly heal.
Which I had been blocked and switched for years prior. So yeah, it's super important. So we can heal while we're sleeping, right? And
Oh yeah.
be in healing mode while we're sleeping is really important.
Yes, and that Health Express test where you wear the belt, at first you lie down so you're in parasympathetic nervous system mode, in healing mode, as you say, while you're sleeping, or horizontal. And then in that test, 2 minutes later, you stand up, and the belt, in communication with the computer, assesses that transition, and then assesses your nervous system standing, like the sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, or very active. So it's a wonderful gauge and very motivational.
Yeah, yeah. And so is there more you want to explain about NRT? I sort of chopped it up a lot with some other comments, but it's a remarkable modality. It inspires the heck out of me.
Yeah, me too. I'd love to talk briefly about more about it. Um, it inspires me so much too. And I've been practicing nutrition response testing, also known as NRT, for over 8 years. And when I discovered it as a patient, I went to a practitioner near Reading, Pennsylvania, and there are practitioners all over the country that practice nutrition response testing. And there's a website, nutritionresponsetesting.com, where you can go to find a practitioner near you. Um, so she tested my body with muscle testing, and I was blown away. And then the results I got, even initially, were really remarkable. And I had already trained as a health coach and was seeing a few clients as a health coach. But when I discovered this, I just could not learn it fast enough. So a fast forward 8+ years, and I now have my own thriving practice, helping so many people heal, and utilizing NRT and the blood and urine testing, which was developed by an NRT practitioner, two practitioners, Dr. Keith Sheehan and his wife, Laura Sheehan. They've been doing NRT for years, and very effectively. and developed this system of analysis of blood and urine labs that goes right along with it. So I'm just over the moon excited about that integration of those two things. But what I wanted to tell you about NRT is that we test for 6 major stressors on the body that cause ill health. They include all sorts of foods and food groups, immune challenges, including virus, bacteria, fungus, and parasites, chemicals, heavy metals, scars on the surface of the skin, and post-pandemic factors. And this is very thorough. So these are things that cause ill health. And yeah, that's
What
basically what I wanted to share. That's so incredible that we can do this in the office in a few minutes by pushing on an arm. And people are probably wondering, how do you do it? Typically, the client lies on a massage table, but not for massage, unfortunately. Raises their arm up to the ceiling like a goalpost, like straight up. And I gently push on the arm, and I get answers. If it locks in place, the arm will lock in place in a lot of cases, or it will unlock. And by putting vials on the body and touching different areas like the thyroid, like the frontal brain, like the eyes, and on down, stomach, small intestine, liver, kidneys, blah, 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 ovaries, adrenals, just get the most valuable information. I just think it's some of the most valuable information anyone could get about what's going on with their bodies and their health.
what's so beautiful about it, and this was what just I don't know, there was a spiritual experience for me about this, is because for many years I was just so I think part of chronic illness for me was learning to love big part of it was learning to love myself, and not trying to push my body around anymore, push through things, and over control and have my mind be in control. I was learning to let my heart be in control, and to listen to my body. And then here comes this modality that brings about so much healing, that asks my body, which I had not done before, what do you need? What's going on? How can I help you? And I mean, wow, that's just mind-blowing, which doesn't exist in allopathic medicine, you know? Not that I'm aware of.
No, not that I'm aware of either. So you said something earlier in the conversation about, oh, how powerful this is. And I really feel like never in human history have we um, had the tools to truly help people heal until now. And um, there are other modalities that help people heal. And I could list them off now, but
Mhm.
I just want to focus and say that this form of healing, I think, is the first stop and the most effective. And then you can add some adjunct therapies to it. But I really, this is synthesizing with nutrition response testing, ancient Chinese medicine and acupuncture, chiropractic, um, German medicine with the scars, and allopathic medicine incorporated in it, like certainly with the blood and urine labs I'm doing and incorporating in. So, I mean, we're just taking uh, some of the most effective means of um, true healing and integrating it in a way that's um, not only supremely effective, but affordable.
Yes, yes, because I'm not using insurance. I gave up insurance. I found that everything I needed was in natural health, and was more affordable, is more affordable. And I could go on and on and on about this, but I'll move into the next question so I don't keep you here all this wonderful Saturday.
No worries.
But you so oh, it seems to me, and I actually want to look at the statistics, which I'll bring up in a, an introduction to this video, because I'm getting different answers everywhere I look. But I see it with my own eyes. I think you probably do too. That the rate of chronic illness is increasing
Yeah.
substantially. Um, the number of clients I have in my psychotherapy practice who are coming to me and saying, "Oh my gosh, now I have this diagnosis," which, by the way, are diagnoses that don't really mean anything. Chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia,
Yeah.
autoimmune disorders of all sorts, is
Yeah.
kind of tells me like they just don't know. It's on the rise. And I'm wondering if you're seeing the same or have any comments about that.
Yes. The man who developed nutrition response testing is Dr. Freddie Ulan. And he was practicing back in the 80s and developed this system of muscle testing. And he was a traditional chiropractor and wasn't much interested in nutrition, but he got extremely ill and was practically on his deathbed for months and was able to restore his health with nutrition and develop this system. Um, he says it was easier decades ago. People didn't need as much in terms of supplements, and things have changed a lot in the last few decades. So we have it's a formidable job. I'm seeing a lot of very sick people, but not to say that they can't heal and can't heal relatively quickly, not overnight, but with time and dedication, they can really turn their health around in months, if not really notice changes within the first 6 weeks on a program that we're doing. So, yeah, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of sickness, and it's all preventable. And it's
Right.
I everyone who walks in my door, I have the attitude just inherently that they can be helped and they can turn their health around. The body is waiting. The body is ready to heal. It just needs the right um, medicine in the form of natural medicine, and it needs the right food, and not the wrong food.
For sure. Yep. Yep. I thought I was a know-it-all when it came to nutrition, and I had a chip on my shoulder. Like, I eat clean, I have a really healthy lifestyle. I exercise, and and I had to learn about a lot of things. Oxalates, for instance, I was eating too many almonds and too many certain good foods, but in high quantities, they can attack.
Yeah, and those who are listening to this are going to wonder, oh, what's oxalates? Or they
Right.
haven't heard of them. Basically, they're very well known as a component in kidney stones and contribute to why kidney stones are so painful. But what people don't realize is these are glass-like nanocrystals that develop in the gut when we eat certain foods. The highest oxalate foods are spinach and Swiss chard and almonds, for example. There are others, and all plant foods have oxalate in varying levels. So glass-like nanocrystals are developed, and they can go anywhere in the body. It just depends on the person, and there's no predicting really. They don't just go to the kidneys. And if anyone tells you and writes this off as, oh, if you have kidney stones, you should be concerned. Otherwise, don't worry about this. No, I see this day in and day out. And it's a major unrecognized cause of chronic pain and dysfunction from head to toe. And this is including, you know, ear issues, migraines, or head issues, mental issues, thyroid issues, cardiovascular issues, ovary issues, prostate issues, joint pain, fibromyalgia pain, arthritic like pain, anywhere. It can exacerbate bacteria and fungus in the body and contribute to Lyme illness. I could go on and on.
And I had to learn all of that, and I'm grateful that I did. And I love the education piece, but I'll get to that. So and I want to back up because I wanted to ask you had actually made mention of, and I found on your website too, that what inspired you to get into this work was your own experience of chronic illness. And so I wonder if there's anything more you want to share about that and your journey.
Sure. Um, I really noticed I was in ill health in my early 20s as a young woman working and feeling like an old woman in a young woman's body and getting sick all the time. My immunity was horrible. And I worked at a private school as a music teacher. Um, and I was getting every bug that went around that school. I was constantly trying to fight off something. Um, and I started going to medical doctors, and I developed a file of notes. I was like this thick, and they really weren't able to help me. I had one really lovely gentleman doctor who encouraged me and said, keep searching, you'll find an answer. And um, in my late 20s, I was in the health food store in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, and starts continuing my search. This has been a lifelong search, and stumbled upon a book called Chronic Fatigue Syndrome and the Yeast Connection. And that was it. That was the beginning of focusing on nutrition. I did the diet in the book. It helped me, but I could not sustain these changes. Like, it helped me, but I was busy working gal, and I was addicted to carbs, fast carbs, and sugar. Like Ben and Jerry's New York Super Fudge Chunk. That's like heaven in a pint or whatever, and PMSing or whatever, or stressed, would eat a whole pint, I mean, easily. Plus the macaroni and cheese and certain go-tos, pizza, the frozen pizza, like, that's really cheap. Whatever, it's got white flour and dairy that's probably uh, very highly processed, like, stuff like this. I always felt so I'd have periods of eating better and then falling off the wagon. Well, in my late 30s, I developed chronic pelvic pain, quite debilitating and isolating and depressing. And so I went on. That was what really kickstarted me to really find answers and stick with proper eating, although I'm still learning what proper eating is. This is quite an evolution. I am, although I have a very good idea of what it takes to stay well in terms of consumption of food and water and liquids, beverages, etc. But so that was 15, 16, 17 years ago. So I have gotten a lot of education since then and transitioned from working in business to having my own nutritional practice, true healing practice, helping others. And my health is the best it's ever been. So that pain is 90% improved. My immunity is amazing. And how blessed was I when 2020 came around, that I had done so much work and my immunity was so great so that I was not in fear. And I
Yes.
work with people day in and day out, and some aren't feeling great. And I encourage them to still come in.
Yeah.
And I really, at this point, know how my immune system has transformed. and great energy now. And yeah, I could, that list is long. Last year, I did the advanced lab testing with nutritional blood chemistry analysis. I was my first guinea pig with that. And then 4 months later, which was a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I redid that advanced lab testing to see the changes, and the changes were quite remarkable. So I learned so much about my health with the advanced lab testing and analysis, made some shifts um, to my consumption and exercise, and am beyond thrilled at what I'm seeing with my own health. So yeah, it's so yeah, my own health struggles have driven me to help others, um, and given me a lot of compassion for others,
Yeah.
and what they're going through.
Yeah, you're describing something that I see, and this is kind of, one of the things I focus on in my own work is, how the major life challenges we go through lead to us being on our dharmic path, and a lot of great healers have gone through their own illness, and yeah, and so I think I'm grateful you're sharing this, because I think it gives people hope, because I even work with clients that I can see through the illnesses they're experiencing, I can see it as clear as day that they are going to be healing practitioners. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, it's a huge evolution going on our planet, so they'll be part of all of this, and yeah. Yeah.
So with this evolution that you see, and you say they'll be part of this, is this evolution happening relatively quickly? So in the next 10, 20 years, 30 years, I'll be able to see.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, right now, it's faster than it's ever been. It's so fast, and even and I feel it too. I mean, I'm coming. I've come to the end of my healing journey, which I don't think it's ever finished. We live in a world where there are toxins coming at us from every angle, right? So I still come to you. I'm still cleaning things out. I'm still, I probably will always be, because I want to keep things clean and running smoothly. And it's sort of like, everyone goes, or people used to go to their primary care physician once a year for a checkup, maybe twice. I mean, this for me is like, I want my body to be running optimally. And if there's something getting in the way of that, I want my body to have the ability to express, hey, I need help with this, or could you clear something out for me? So yeah, but this evolution I see is really happening quickly. And I think that's also part of why so many people are emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually sick, is they're moving towards a breakthrough or an awakening. So I'm excited for it, even if it's not always easy. Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to part one of my interview with Cindy Harrington. Stay tuned for the second part of the interview that I'll post next week. And until then, I send you so much love and prayers for as much grace and ease as possible on your healing journey.